Alright, so I'll add another drop. So I'm just gonna do the fast drops again. So it turns pink. Oh, and this is staying. So if you notice, there's still a slight pink. Well, actually, no, it went back clear. So let's add one more drop. You want to be super slow. Alright, so I added one more drop. And it's pink, but let's see if it goes back clear again. And no, it stayed a faint pink. So I'll put the waste container next to it. See, this is clear, and this is slightly pink. And so now we will record the volume of the burette again. So now we're at step 8. If a drop of the base gets stuck to the side of the Erlenmeyer flask, you can wash the drop into the acid using a spray of DI water from your squeeze bottle. So you just like wash the sides and then stir it again. And it's still pink, so now we can move on. So step 9, the endpoint of the titration is when the solution remains pink after stirring. You should try to stop the titration when the solution is the lightest pink color that you can recognize by the eye. So step 10, note the reading on the burette now that you have finished the titration. Alright, so record the volume of the sodium hydroxide that's left in our burette. And then, just so you can see, I'm going to add a little bit more sodium hydroxide to this, not from the burette. I'll just take it from the stock solution, and just so you can see how bright pink it does get. So you'll want it to be that faint pink. You don't want to end at this point because then you've gone over the endpoint. So now we'll continue with step 10. Empty the Erlenmeyer flask into the large collection beaker set up by your instructor. So I'm just going to put it into my waste container. Rinse the Erlenmeyer flask with a couple milliliters of water before you do the next run. So we're just going to rinse our Erlenmeyer flask and put that also in the waste. And so now we're at step 11. Repeat the titration one more time. So we're going to use the end point that was on our burette, which was there, as our new starting point. And so now we'll do the same thing with our hydrochloric acid. We'll measure out 10 mils. And then you will need to record right? So go ahead and record the volume of the hydrochloric acid that we are going to be dispensing. And we'll put this into our Erlenmeyer flask. And then we'll add 1 drop of the phenolphthalein again. And then we'll fill it to roughly a bit over the 50 ml mark. And then just swirl it. So now we're just going to repeat the same thing as we did. We're going to titrate the hydrochloric acid with our 0.100 molar sodium hydroxide. So I'll just add 1 ml at a time, then swirl it. And a lot of times your second titration is more accurate because you know roughly where the end point is going to be. So I'm just going to continue where I just allow a little bit to come out. Now that I'm getting close. Alright, we're getting pretty close. So now I'm going to do the individual drops